Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we're going to take on the Kelger'S Shinryu fight. Now, I get to do this fight twice, so I'm going to do two different runs for this. So my first run is going to be like kind of my natural instincts of what I want to run, which is my really busted Reno, Beatrix, Kelger team. This is the one I did during his character guide, but we're going to see it look a little bit better here because this fight's a lot tankier. I think this fight actually is going to be a really nice fight to be, and it's a lost chapter, so it's permanently available. So this will kind of be my new, I think, testing ground for like these types of characters. Instead of the Ultimisia fight, I think this one will work out really nice because the bosses are very aggressive, they cut turns, and they have a lot more HP. So we'll definitely take that. So for those of you that haven't been like hearing me talk about this team and why I like it so much, one is it's all red crystal, which is a crystal room that I've completed. So my character is going to be looking like pretty busted, like in terms of stats and everything. And I have the two D passives on, D3 and D6, which makes it so it lowers my speed and turn rate of my character. So you can see we're not getting a lot of turns here, and the enemies are jumping turns a lot, which we actually really like. And I feel like all three of these units just serve the team so well in different ways, right? Obviously, Kelger's kind of the main driving force in terms of like the evade tanking, locking, doing all the off turn. Beatrix serves it very well because she is also doing really good off-turn damage, which doesn't tick Kelger's force time particularly well, but it's still like really good off-turn damage in general that can tick when the enemies take turns, which is kind of what we want to happen, right? And then she also has Holy Knight Safeguard, which can be a safety net to protect Kelger in case he takes a non-evasive attack. And the nice thing with Beatrix's Holy Knight Safeguard is when her burst effect is up, it'll never run out, and she's going to be getting so few turns in like a style like this. Like all the BT effects of these characters will basically never fall off because the enemies are going to attack too much and they're going to die before we'd ever get that many turns. So it's pretty much like an unbeatable team, because then beyond that we have Reno, which Reno, he's got his pyramid going on. And the main thing that I like about Reno is his BT effect, where we can then use the Turks combo. The Turks combo is not only going to be a powerful attack, but it delays the party, which we want, and also adds Pyramid on. Now, Pyramid isn't as potent, I would say, as Holy Knight Safeguard, because for this type of team comp, the enemies are going to take a million turns, so they're going to get their one-turn Pyramid, and it's just going to fall off anyways. But I'd say Beatrix is really the nice safety net defensive character. So, you know, Reno's purpose, he's delaying the party. Kelger's the main driving force, and then Beatrix is there for extra off turn in the absolute safety net, where like I feel like outside of a guaranteed KO attack, I don't know how this team ever dies, right? Because any single target's getting dodged. AoE is getting completely protected by the Holy Knight Safeguard. Anything that Kelger would take a hit for any reason, Holy Knight Safeguard, like it's pretty dang fail safe here, right? Like the only thing we could take is, you know, the enemies could hit us with the debuff before we get our thing set up. Which could be kind of nasty. We actually do see that on the mission quest fight that we did, the newest mission quest. They can hit you with a nasty blind. So I can imagine a team like this, you know, like Beatrix getting blinded could be like a bit of a hindrance, but like wouldn't really like break anything. Like we'd still be fine because like Kelger wouldn't get blinded because he's going to be dodging everything out and he's going to put up enough damage to do everything, right? But it's really fun because it's nice seeing this team comp work in a situation where we can actually like get deeper into the fight. And what I love about Kelger's FR, man, like you get up to 999 so fast with him. It's just insane. You guys will see, like when we get to the end of this fight, one, it's going to be an insanely low turn count, and two, just like how much force turns we have left at the end of this thing. It's kind of crazy with how much damage we can put out. All right, so we got Kelger Inject here popping off, doing their thing. And that's going to give me, yeah, we're about to go in here and do the BT attack, but that was the FR attack. So what we did here was we did do just a Kelger burst phase. And I think Kelger is a really good example of a character where you can just go burst phase early to kind of set up. In particular, like getting his EX buff up again is pretty good because he's only got 4 turns on it. And it can take a while for his EX to charge, and you would have a risk of that falling off. Whereas if you go into his burst right away, you're using all the attacks, you're setting up all the buffs, you get the EX right away, which will give him 6 turns of it. And once you have the 6 turns of it, then you're pretty safe that you're always going to be like refilling your EX in time to like refresh that, right? Because between the EX and the LD, you need both of those to have the evading and the countering. So you just always want to make sure that those buffs are upkept. And in a team comp like this, like you're never going to need like a dedicated burst phase deep in a force time. So I think just doing that to setup is like totally perfect here. So obviously because this is his fight, they're going to give him a fight where he works really, really well in. But yeah, provided like provided that like evading is allowed, like he can pretty much solo any fight. Unless the enemies do like really stupid mechanics where like you have to do a force to cancel it, otherwise you're never going to kill them, like weird stuff like that. But yeah, any fight like this where you can evade, there's no like weird mechanic that he can't get around, like yeah, it's going to be good. So what I'm going to show you guys is on this fight right here, we're obviously doing the full team comp, but I had somebody like make a comment on one of my videos asking like, what's more effective? Is it more effective to run Kelger alone? Is it more effective to do just him and Reno? Is it more effective to do him and a third character? So we can kind of do a direct comparison. So I'm going to be doing this same fight again with a Kelger solo run, and we can compare turn count. We can kind of compare force time and percentage and kind of look like how easy did it come in each one. And I already recorded, so I know like kind of what it looks like, but I'm going to put this one up right now. And then the next video, the Kelger solo, we'll put up tomorrow. And then I have another run of my Mission Quest 2 that I already recorded, and we'll have that go up the next day, just so I'm spacing out the content a little bit. And then obviously we're going to have the campaign banners drop, which I think is Golbez and Garnet. So that'll be coming, but there won't really be much content for me to do on that. I'm not going to really be doing polls to do a video of. I mean, I might go for Golbez FR with tickets for fun, but I don't even know if I'm going to bother recording it, to be honest. And then I'm guessing there would just be another mission quest added, or maybe nothing, because the current mission quest might be the one intended for them. Because it did want like thunder damage in Final Fantasy IX, so they kind of, you know, Garnet is a character that works in there, so that might actually be like just dropped early, because they did drop Golbez's rework early, which they said they were going to do. So they may have done that just to drop the mission quest at the same time, right? So I don't even know that we're getting new content other than the banners, but we'll see. We shall see. I mean, if there's a new Shinryu, I'll record that, obviously. But, like, I'm trying to get these videos all recorded tonight, because I got Yu-Gi-Oh! Tomorrow night on Wednesday. So I'm pretty much going to be out all night. And then, yeah, it's tough, and I'm still working on all this house stuff, right? So just bear with me if we get through it. So far, I've been able to handle, like, keeping up with content. But, like, I had the first day of school with kids today, and, man, I'm, like, literally sore. Like, it's so bad that like I'm so out of shape, or like I'm so inactive during the summer that I like literally just I worked for a day with kids at school, just being a teacher, and like my muscles are sore. Like it's crazy. Like who knew I had to get back into teaching shape, right? Like teaching is something you have to get in shape for, because it is, man. I'm on my feet like all day. I'm constantly walking around the classroom. I did a ton of talking today, so my throat is actually getting a little bit scratchy, but here I go. I come home and I do videos. It's what I do. It's my job. I talk all day, right? It's just kind of what happens. So anyways, we're finally in force time. We're at 476% already, by the way, so we've been in it a little bit. But, you know, when you have a team that's this slow, you can see Reno delaying, and then it's like when we actually get turns, we can still echo and, like, not even deplete our force gauge. It's kind of crazy. So, yeah, now they're going to attack, and we're going to get 50% gains, which add up really, really fast, especially when we're super slow and we're delaying ourselves, right? In Kelger here, what's crazy is when we get up to 999 gauge, right, like the max gauge, his basically his not this attack, but his first strike attack, so the one that is preemptive before the enemies go, this one here, that first strike at max gauge is doing about 10 mil a piece, and he's doing it twice. So it's very much reminiscent of Rex, how like Rex does his own preemptive before his turn and it triggers twice. The thing is this one's on enemy turns. But that's what Rex does. He does about 10 mil a piece, and he's doing 20 mil like off turn before he even does his turn. That's what Kelger's doing. Every enemy turn at a max gauge, he's popping off 20 mil before they attack, and then he's going to do the counter damage, which is about 7 to 8 mil AoE when you're at a full gauge. So it's just insane how much damage over time this man does. And I would argue, you know, while he's not as flashy as like Astos, you know, he's not putting up 100 and whatever million a shot, I would say he's one of the best damage dealers in the game. If you look at his damage over time, or his damage per turn, it's absolutely insane. And that's kind of how these off-turn characters have always worked. So, you know, maybe less experienced players that are just looking at like how much damage they're seeing on the screen, like when he attacks, might not be as impressed. But if you actually understand the concept of, hey, per actual turn count, per actual Kelger turn, look at all the damage he's putting out, right? So if we just look at right now, there's 4 enemy turns that are coming up before his turn. Just in his first strike damage, that's what? 20 million damage a turn. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 80 million damage before Kelger's turn. That's just on first strike. That's not even counting the counter damage, right? So we're looking at 80 million plus 4 of these like probably 7 mil AoEs. So you're talking about like another 28 to 30 mil AoE on top of the 80. So he's doing like 130 something million in the span of him taking one turn. That is reminiscent of Astos. So Kelger, to me, like if you've got a really aggressive fight like this, he can actually compete DPS wise with Astos. Not only doing that, but actually being like defensive as well and helping the team live. And there you go. Before I can even like get my last sentence out, the enemy's already dead. I don't even think we got to full 9s in this video, but it was what, like a 11 turn clear or something like that. We had a ton of force turns left, 14 turn clear. Pretty nice and clean and smooth. So anyways, guys, let me know what you think of this monster and look forward to a Kelger'S solo coming tomorrow. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.